This was the best part for me of the Indy-Minnesota game. So Collinsworth starts talking about Anthony Richardson, talking about him getting tired. They show him tapping out of the last game, Joe Flacco coming in, and then they show Anthony Richardson on the sideline, and he just gives the biggest...
Bad timing. It's bad timing.
He kind of starts eating his yawn on the sideline. And I remember we had this last year with Flacco as well, who's, obviously an old man now, when he was in Cleveland and they were beating up on the Jets. I think it was the game they clinched the playoffs Thursday night last year at the end of the year. But I'm not a night game guy. I always had trouble staying awake. I mean, I was the guy that was drinking coffee before the game and drinking coffee at halftime. I know, because your beard was gray before you were done playing. I know you had to have trouble in some of those games.
I mean, I was 40, Fitz. I mean, I was hurting. Listen, I was well known in my career for running out to the hashes on every single offensive drive. What people don't understand is I was so old, it's the only way I could get my heart rate back up, okay? My blood pressure was getting low. I was ready for nap time half the time, okay? So when these late games go off, in my house with these kids and these dogs, it's 9 o'clock, 9:30 Pacific time. I'm going to bed. So when you're playing on the East Coast or somewhere else in a night game, I mean, I was exhausted. So yeah, I mean, you have to do everything possible to get your energy up, because you get over there, you sweat a little bit, you come off the field, and I don't think sometimes people understand. Sometimes when some of those drives go, you're sitting on the bench doing nothing, just
especially if it's a cold game. If it's a cold game and you're on the heated seats and you're just warm and cozy over there. Yeah.
My butt's warm, my thighs, my quads, everything. I'm heated up. I feel like I just want to curl up in a ball and take a nap. You got to get up and jump around a little bit, man. Sometimes that's why you see guys, they pour some cold water on themselves. They take the smelling salt. You got to get that energy up. Avoid nap time. But man, AR, bad timing for the yawn. It was bad timing.
It was tough. But I, my strategy for avoiding those games, primetime never wanted to see me anyway. So I maybe got a Thursday night game every now and again. But Al Michaels, in all the years that he called games, not once.
He's called them for everybody, baby.
Did he ever call one of my games?
No Fitzmagic?
I was
no Fitzmagic games?
Allergic to primetime.
Yeah, Ron, and speaking of Anthony Richardson, I know this week I saw, man, you tweeted about the decision to bench him for Flacco, and you kind of felt like it was the right decision. What were your thoughts on that?
I got a lot to say about this, because this was kind of my life, especially the back half of my career. I mean, Joe Flacco made the decision to go to Indianapolis probably for two reasons. One, because he knew he had a chance to play at some point. And two, because they're actually a pretty good football team. And, Anthony Richardson, he's there to help him out. Joe's going to help Anthony in every way that he can. But the problem is, if you have a young guy that's not playing well, he wasn't going up, he was going down. He was playing worse and worse as the weeks went on. That affects your whole football team. And it doesn't just affect you from week to week. That affects the development of all your skill guys. That affects the confidence of your offensive linemen, and it affects the confidence of your team. So this was the right move. And I don't like the guys that are saying that Anthony Richardson is now done. They've moved on. He needs to take a step back, and he can actually get better from sitting, because there's a lot of things with his fundamentals that he has to work on. So being able to do that in practice now, and to be able to really hone in and focus on those things, rather than putting so much time and effort into specific play calls and to specific situations, really focusing on the fundamentals is going to help him, because there's some issues there that he's got to get better with. And then Joe Flacco is a pro's pro. And what I mean by that is, yes, he's going to go out there and try to win every football game. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
But Joe is also... he knows the assignment. He's also going to help Anthony Richardson. He's going to help him in practice. He's going to help him in meetings. And even when Joe is playing football, he's going to come over to the bench. He's going to hold the tablet. He's going to talk to Anthony Richardson about what's going on. He knows his assignment. He knows he's there now because he's got to win games, but he also knows and took the assignment because he has to develop this young kid who hasn't played a lot of football. He didn't play a lot in college. And so just throwing him out there and watching him get worse and worse every week, that's not the solution. That's not experience. Take a back seat, watch Joe do it, watch how Joe prepares, work on your fundamentals in practice, and then there will be another time and place where we're going to get him in there and we're going to see how he can do. But he was getting worse, he was regressing, and there's no reason that Steichen should be criticized for taking a step back and putting the kid on the bench because he's going to do everything he can now to develop him into a better player.
All right, well, here's my question for you now. All right, what did you see? Did you see Adam Schefter's tweet about from 2000 to 2022? Yeah, Schefty's tweet from 2000 to 2022, 66 quarterbacks taken in the first round. 25 of them were benched at some point. Only one guy ever came back and made a Pro Bowl or went to playoffs with their team. It's Mitch Trubisky. Only one.
Mitch Trubisky.
So when you get benched, Mitch Trubisky's the only one, Fitz. So yeah, I it's tough. I don't know how I feel about it.
So my question is, so is it the realization that he was overdrafted then? Are we realizing that we took a chance?
Well,
on him?
here's my thing with him, right? I think the one criticism I would say is I agree with you, actually. I think Flacco's the right move for the team and all those things. I think it's tough when these guys, coaches, GMs, all these things, I just think they talk too much. And it's like you can believe in a guy and you can have full confidence that my quarterback that we draft, we are as an organization, we're drafting this guy, we're going to develop him. We believe he's the future of our franchise. No question. I'm with you. You don't have to say things like he's going to have a long time to get better because we're going to make sure that he gets all his reps on the field, no matter what this guy's playing. This isn't a thing where we're going to let him sit on the bench. Like, we're going to get him reps, and through reps, he's going to learn because he hasn't played much football. Like, to me, you put yourself in these situations where now everybody's going to criticize you and say, wait, let's look back. When you drafted this guy, you knew he hadn't played a lot of football, and your whole deal was no matter what, we're going to leave him in the game, and he's going to develop through reps. And I think that through this process, I may be leaning towards Sherm's side, which I hate to say because Richard Sherman says it all the time. He thinks it's more of a science thing where it's just these quarterbacks should sit, they should watch, and they'll eventually be better just because of that. And I think we have some examples of that where we've seen guys that sit at first and they come in and play well. So I don't know. I'm starting to lean to it like you either have it to start off the jump or maybe you just don't have it.
And I think, too, if you're Shane Steichen and you're looking at the AFC South and you watch the Houston Texans play in our game on Thursday night, they're certainly not unbeatable, right? I mean, obviously they lost to the Jets, but they have some major issues on offense right now. Their interior line is not very good. Stephon Diggs is out. They're desperate for Nico Collins to come back, but the Houston Texans have major issues right now, and they are no longer looking like this top 3 team in the AFC because of the issues they've encountered on offense.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, to me, it's Kansas City, Baltimore, Buffalo, and I'm interested to see how Baltimore, Buffalo pan out as the year goes on.